Alrighty, so this should be our Lesson 8 video. However, we skipped Lesson 8 and we did this solving equations student booklet. So if you're here Monday, Tuesday, you got it on your desk. If you are a Thursday, Friday student, I will give you a copy of it on Thursday. But this is the video so you know how it is solved. So first we need to fold it in half so it's a book. All right, on the inside, it just tells us how to solve equations, which we have been doing for lesson 1. Where's my yellow highlighter? Lesson 1 through 7. This whole unit's on solving equations, but that's what we've done so far. So to solve a one-step equation, your goal is to get that variable alone. Variable are these letters. So on this first page, all of them happen to be X. But if you turn the page, we have an X, we have an R, we have a P, an X, an R, a W, a C, an N, a Z, a Q, a Z, and an A. So your variable can be any letter that stands for an unknown value. So variable is a letter. And you get it alone using your inverse operations. Well, so far I haven't really used the word inverse too often. I always say the word opposite. Like, what's the opposite of multiplying by 6? Dividing. So this page tells us all of our inverse. The inverse of addition is subtraction. And the inverse of subtraction is addition. That's telling us that anytime we have an adding problem, we need to subtract that amount. Or anytime we have a subtraction problem, we need to add that amount to get our variable by itself. The next two also go together. This one says the inverse of multiplication is division. And the inverse of division is multiplication. So anytime you have a problem that's multiplying, you're going to do the opposite and you're going to divide. Or if you have a dividing problem, you're going to do the opposite and multiply. Dividing, you won't always see the sign. You might see a fraction. So you might see, I'm just going to write number 2 down. X over 2. This line means to divide. That's your dividing line. So I'll do this first page, and then most classes did the other 2 pages alone or with a partner. Number 1 says 5x equals 75. Well, this is actually saying 5 times x. What's the opposite of multiplying by 5? Well, it would be dividing, or the inverse, leaving us with x equals 75 divided by 5 is 15. And then we have check. Check is where we plug our x value in. So instead of having 5 times x, we have 5 times 15. Put it on a calculator, you get 75. So that means it checks out. It works. Number 2, x divided by 2. Well, the opposite of dividing, or the inverse of dividing, would be to multiply by 2. These 2 cancel out because really we have 1x. So I have 1/2 times 2. And when I'm multiplying a fraction by a whole number, I make that whole number a fraction by having a denominator 1. Multiply straight across, giving us 2 over 2, which is equal to 1. So it leaves us with just our x, one of them. And 12 times 2 is 24. If we now plug our 24 in, we have 24 divided by 2. And that indeed equals 12. Last 2. So we did one that we had to divide, one we had to multiply. Now we have x plus 10. The opposite of adding 10 would be to taking away 10 or subtracting 10, leaving us with x equals 22. These cancel out. We plug our 22 in for x. I now have 22 plus 10, and I get 32. Last one we're going to do together. X minus 4. The inverse of minus is to add. And since they're opposites, they equal 0, leaving us with only x. And it says 2 plus 4, x is now 6. If we plug our 6 in for x, it gives us 6 minus 4 equals 2. And it does indeed equal 2. The rest of them you will do on your own time. On Thursday, we'll go over these 3 and then get into lesson 9.